Welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
Hello, Levi.
Hello, Jen. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Tired. But we'll
correct.
see if I rally for this, Jen.
You fucking better.
Thanks.
It's your job.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought my job is what made me tired, but I guess I was wrong.
You are wrong, yes.
Cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, today we are going to be playing some more of the Heavensward MSQ. We are playing up to the quest, Camp of the Convictors.
Victors.
So, Jen, what happened last time? It's real easy.
Oh, we had to go and rescue Raban.
And then
We rescued him.
well, you rescued Raban and nothing else happened. Moving on.
Jesus Christ.
I thought you were doing a bit, actually. Jen.
No, I just like whatever, you know. But then when we got back to the Waking Sands after rescuing Raban, we were approached by a lady who was a member of the syndicate who told us the scoop that we all got by Lord Lolorito and his secret plan against the secret plan of Teleji, and he swapped the stuff so Nanamo did not die. She just went to sleep.
Thank you, Jen.
Yep.
That's the whole recap. Moving on.
Moving on.
Today, we are returning to Ishgard to Fortomp Manor because we have received an urgent summons from Tataru.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Fortomp family is gathered here, and we get the news. The Observatorium's bell has tolled, and the Holy See has ordered that we make ready for battle. A band of trappers returning from the west claim they saw a cloud of dragons big enough to dim the midday sky.
It's a lot of dragons.
I guess.
Probably.
It probably is. They're like one big dragon.
Hopefully not. So this isn't a new deal for us. We have fought the Horde before.
Well, it
but
kind of is and kind of isn't. I'm going to comment on this after we get done with this little section, but the messaging is a bit strange, I think.
yeah. So Edmont is aware that he guaranteed our safety, you know, stay with me, I'll offer you asylum, I'll keep you safe, blah, blah, blah. So the prospect of a Dravanian horde descending upon Ishgard, this isn't new for us. This is what, our at least our, at a minimum, our second go-around with this. But Edmont understands that he offered us asylum in Ishgard and doesn't feel that it's fair to ask us to take up arms against the horde again. And he actually suggests that we run away and find sanctuary somewhere and lay low. So, you know, at this point we have a choice. We can flee to sanctuary, or we have the decision made for us because the horde will arrive and that'll be that. And we turn to Alphino, and he's like, I really don't like the prospect of running yet again. And he says, the Count would have us seek shelter from this storm, but I, for one, grow tired of running. If we are to shine the light of dawn, we must do so in the sight of our fellow man, not hunkered in a hole. And so we're given a little prompt. We had a choice. It is stay and fight, or say that it's not safe here and we should flee. And I chose stay and fight because that's literally like our only job. And I was curious if I chose, like, it's not safe here, we need to go, how they would flip that into making us do the stuff we're going to do anyway.
Yes, Jen, I chose to leave. I was like, Alpha, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
Not because I want to see the city burn, but because I want to see how the game, I guess, accommodates these diversionary responses.
Yeah. Is Alphino going to be like, I am very disappointed in you?
Well, yes, he is, Jen, but also no. So it's just like last time in the ninja episode where Oboro twisted my words against me. I say, Alphino, I'm out. I don't want to stay here. And he's like, I am shocked. You, Warrior of Light, you would leave us. Oh, but wait. Perhaps we don't stay in the city.
Yeah.
So what's happening, Jin, is that I'm actually ahead of Alphino for once now.
Yeah.
I'm one step ahead of him, and I have led him to our next decision.
Inception.
Yes.
So
the choice design-wise to give us this false option is...
It's not... Obviously, like, whenever we're given these quote-unquote choices, they're not really choices.
Nothing is a choice in this, in that...
It does not split the story in any way. Or
right.
Yeah, you're not getting multiple endings here.
These are meant, I think, to give you a chance to personify yourself.
Right.
I feel like the times when they give us these, either we're going to stop the story, I'm off the ride, or keep going choices. I don't know why they choose to dangle the, fuck you, no, I'm going home option when that's not feasible.
And it's not.
Yeah.
So you're like, the only reason you're clicking on this thing is because the curiosity is, what's the game going to say to turn this shit around?
Precisely.
So that I'm doing the thing.
It also is insulting, I think, in a way, because if you're saying, if it gives me the option to say, no, I don't want to do this, and I say, no, I don't want to do this, and it's going like, actually, you want to do it, but extra hard because you're now ahead of the game. You're like two steps ahead of the story. I don't know. It feels kind of insulting to give you the option and then just go, JK, not really. Yep. It's better when it gives you a choice as to what do you want to ask about, or do you want to give like a aggressive response or like a passive response or something like that.
Yes.
And it adjusts the response accordingly. The times it gives us these false choices, I find questionable as to why they are bothering in the first place.
Just to keep the RPG-ness alive, I suppose.
Except it's contrary, whatever.
Yes.
Anyways.
Yes.
So I answered no to see what would happen, and that is what happens. I am now outsmarting Alphino.
Well, congratulations.
So we now go outside to talk about the stuff. And Jen, two things here, two gripes that I'm done. I'm happy from this point onwards. But first off, Jen, because of what happened last time, we now have lost our whole, you can't go home again, the Sultana's dead, you're wanted for her murder, etc. stuff. So we kind of have lost the feeling that Ishgard is our last refuge. We can just leave in the story and we could be fine. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we can go walking around town because the bulk of the city and everybody, they still think that we're fugitives. But the powers that be know better. So yeah.
Well,
we're not going to get clapped in irons if
they
we go back.
Explicitly said they're not actually leveling charges against us.
They're not announcing the charges because we're waiting for proof. I mean, so It's like it's still not like awesome for us, but we're not going nothing's going to happen. That whole thing has been dispelled.
Maybe not awesome in Ul'dah, in Limsa or Gordania. Who cares?
We're fine. They everybody knows that we're cool, at least the people that matter.
It was a good feeling for a short time narratively that we had to be here, and this was the place where we're going to set up shop.
Oh, and fight to prove our innocence.
Exactly.
That's so cool. Like now there's no fight because there was no conflict to begin with.
Well, there's a fight, but that's because we're doing good, not because we're kind of forced into a corner.
Yeah, we're not. Now, instead of like having to prove our innocence, now the mission is to like find out where they're keeping the Sultana.
Yeah. Second thing, Jen, about the whole sky blotting out, blah, blah, blah thing. This is when the real Heavensward story begins. Mm-hmm. The stuff beforehand was all kind of prologue
Just
and
setting it up.
Yeah. Here's Ishgard. Here's the vibes here.
Yeah.
Now we begin the actual proper story of this expansion. And this lead in was extremely sudden to me. I thought that after the setup we got inside about there being like a horde of dragons, that we'd get like some Steps of Faith-esque defense mission. Maybe we're in the broom this time fighting dragons.
Right.
But it did not feel like this is the moment that sets off the desperate gamble that is the meat of the Heavensward plot.
Correct.
Because I did not feel like we had no options left, that we have to do this crazy out of, what's the saying, Jen? Out of left field. There we go. Out of left field, Hail Mary, whatever cliche you want, absolutely bonkers plan to shoot our one shot and hope it lands.
Yeah, well, and that's the issue is that, like, okay, well, the idea is a really good one. It's a solid strategy if we're like absolutely out of options.
Yes, exactly.
But the issue here is that we're not really. It's not communicated that this is like the final showdown. It's and that's how it's basically. That's how Alfino treats it with like this final this last ditch effort, because apparently this attack by the Horde is the bad one. And it's like they've been crying wolf this whole time. Like we've had horde attacks, and like they're set up all over the city for this kind of shit to happen over and over and over again. What has made this one different? And that's not communicated at all.
Yeah. Well, he's right. The reason this one is different is that it is Nidhogg and all the dragons, every dragon, Jen, coming for the city.
All thems.
But the only lead-in we get is some trappers saw some dragons.
Nah.
Third-hand accounts.
I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When somebody who said that, like, it was Count Edmont. He was like, some trappers returning from the west saw a giant, horde dragons, whatever. And immediately was like, no, nobody. There were no trappers. This is propaganda. That's stupid. Because the Observatorium rung the bell. And the Observatorium isn't ringing bells based on trapper gossip. They're scanning the skies and looking at signs in the stars. And that's when they signal danger. So I'm like, was it both? Did the Observatorium observe some shit, ring the bell, and then the trappers came and they're like, it's true. There's dragons, like that's okay. I'm going to believe that story. Not that the trappers like walked up to the top of the observatorium and were like, yeah, we saw some dragons. They're like, oh shit, ring the bell.
Sure. Well, they're right. Obviously, this is what's happening here. It's just not well sold to us, the player. It could have just used like a cutscene of like, oh shit, that's a lot of dragons.
Oh my God,
something.
that would have been so cool. Like dragons from like everywhere, like rising to the call of Nidhogg and just like from lands over hill and dale and blah blah blah, and just like what's a really good like movie scene? Was it like the orcs in Lord of the Rings where they're all like there's like burr, 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 there's like a call to action, and then there's just throngs of enemies or whatever. But that would have done amazing to instill in us the fear of Nidhogg.
Yeah, that's all, Jen.
Yeah,
time for some good times for us, the player.
Yeah, but this is fucking awesome. So we're outside the manor, and we're gonna tell Tatru about our plan.
We don't have a plan yet because we're outside. We're gonna have like our Scions huddle saying, "Hey, that's a lot of dragons, I guess. What do we do?" Alphinaud goes, "Ishgard cannot endure another assault.
Right.
Even should her knights succeed in turning back the horde, the casualties will be catastrophic. But what other choice do we have?" wonders Tataru. "It's not like we can talk to them." Or can we, Jen?
Or can we? And Alphinaud has a brainwave. Oh, there is a notable exception to that. And Tataru's like, oh shit. Do you mean to go talk to Lady Iceheart? Yes, that's exactly what he means. Because the last time we talked to Lady Iceheart down in the basement of their refuge or whatever, she expressed regret for her crimes. And if we can tap into that, maybe we can get her to communicate with Nidhogg and be like, knock it off or whatever. So that is our strategy. We're gonna try this.
But Jen, we got a hangers on. Coming out of nowheres is Estinian.
Whoa, he's been eavesdropping.
He has. He goes, "If there is to be a meeting, I would accompany you."
Ooh, okay.
Even with your intermediary, Nidhogg's blood rage may render him deaf to reason. However, the mere attempt may afford our forces precious time to prepare. Of course, you might also consider a more direct approach to ending this conflict. With the power of the eye at my disposal and the vaunted strength of the Warrior of Light, we could conceivably slay the beast outright.
True, and I think maybe that's like his ulterior motive. Maybe he's got some beef with Nidhogg, obviously, but
when we left off with the Dragoon questline, Nidhogg was very angry.
Yep.
Full of the blood rage at us and Nidhogg and anything else he saw as being dragon-esque.
Yeah, he mad.
My assumption here is that he's not trying to join our peace plan so much as using us to get close to Nidhogg.
Probably.
I feel like that's his motivation at this time.
I feel like he, if there's going to be anything that's going to be adjacent to Nidhogg, he wants to be involved.
It's going to be him.
It's going to be him, correct. And maybe he doesn't know, why he feels compelled to join us in this. But the eye, the dragon juice running in his body is like, get close to Nidhogg. And he's like, I have this itch. I gotta hang out with Alfino and the Warrior of Light and do this thing. So there may be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. There's two possible opposing impetuses in Estinian's body.
But
right now.
Alfino says fine, but let's be clear here. We shall only turn to your lance if words fail to find their mark.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk first and then fight later, all right?
Estinian agrees and gives us some advice. Think carefully before divulging the particulars of this plan to Sir Emmerich. 'Twould not do to have the Lord Commander accused of consorting with heretics.
Which that's exactly what we're going to be doing.
Correct.
We're going to be teaming up with Lady Iceheart, Queen of the Heretics. So we need to tell Sir Emmerich about our plan because one, it's just,
it's polite.
It's polite. And two, we need the Holy See to not strike first no matter what. Because we don't need them to start this whole thing off before we have a chance to do our thing.
Yeah.
So without communicating exactly what we're doing, we're going to be like, we're going to do this thing. It could possibly be awesome, but you can't attack first.
We're going to go tell Emmerich just that. So we head over now to Temple Knight headquarters. And we find Emmerich hard at work at preparing for the city's defense.
What's the name of the headquarters again?
It's the Temple of our Knights Most Holy of Defending or something like that.
It's like the temple of our Knights Most Righteous in their
doings.
It's something stupid. Anyway.
Oh my God, that is so rude, Jen. It is wordy. It is not stupid.
It's propaganda.
It is reverent.
It's propaganda, but that's fine. Anyway.
Jen, don't be heretic in Ishgard.
That's all.
Haven't you learned your lesson, Jen?
No.
Apparently not.
I'll be fine.
Jen will be fine. That's true. Anyway, so we're at that place and we find Emmerich working hard to prepare for the city's defense. But he's happy to give us a moment. Alfino starts us off. To speak plain, we believe there is a chance that the invasion might be halted before it even begins. He can't say why, though. Emmerich just has to trust us.
Estinian does say, what you need to know is that I have committed my lance to this plan, and it will, at a minimum, allow the Holy See some time to bolster their defenses and prepare.
I will gladly lend my support to any endeavor that could spare the blood of my countrymen, but I would know more of the cause you would have me champion. Will you not share aught of this mysterious undertaking?
Know that I have offered my lance to aid in this endeavor. I cannot claim that its success is assured, but our actions should serve to delay Nidhogg's advance at the very least. Which is more than can be said for the ill-conceived counterattack advocated by the sea's more vocal crusaders.
Our word and Estinian's word is enough for Emmerich, and he's all in. I can see it now. The Azure Dragoon and the Warrior of Light, sallying forth together to face the dread worm Nidhogg. I must admit, the mere thought of it does dispel my misgivings.
It should.
And Jen, it is 2 Azure Dragoons.
Yes.
Count them.
Yes. Sir Emmerich, I am surprised that you forgot that I am also a Azure Dragoon, but that's, that's fine. We'll deal with that later.
Jen.
I know in my heart that I'm the Azure Dragoon.
When I and Estinian go marching into this office, we are both Elazin Dragoons. We walk up in the exact same fashion, side by side, and
are
at
you
the
wearing
same
the same
time,
outfit?
No, different outfits. I'm wearing one of the early PvP series reward sets.
Oh, right, okay.
I look cooler than Estinian.
Yeah.
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 Though he's wearing like the Heavensward Dragoon armor.
The black one.
Not the belly.
Not the belly one.
Window. A Realm Reborn Dragoon armor.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, though, so we both walk up and we both pause at the same time. Same posture going, what up, Emmerich?
Yeah. Twinsies.
We got his buy-in. We step back outside and we reconvene with the A-team out here. And Estinian is enjoying himself. I will say this for your plan. It has made keeping secrets from the Holy See seem almost entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much of a quote-unquote believer he is as far as like, you know, the Orthodox religion in Ishgard, or he's just like anti-Nidhogg.
I'm going to say the latter. From his demeanor and his words just now, he does not feel like a true believer, I guess.
No, he's not going on faith. He's just going on like bloodlust.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why we love him.
Mm-hmm. We got to get moving, though, because Alphino says history tells us that the Dravanians will attack as soon as their horde reaches a critical size. Before then, we have to track down Lady Iceheart, win her over, and then locate and parley with Nidhogg.
No big deal.
In short, time is against us.
It's just going to take so much time, dude. It's going to take like a month.
The scene cuts to the vault, with the Heavensward Knight Zephyrin standing before Archbishop Thordan.
So, the dragons are coming. Let them come, in their hundreds and their thousands. With the divine blade in our hands, we shall rend their flesh and drown the heretics in their master's blood. Even Nidhogg and his foul brood shall be powerless to resist us. And when we have rid the world of their pestilence, we shall turn our attention to our Ascian allies. See that they are suitably rewarded for their invaluable assistance.
Zephyrin asks him, the Ascians, they're strange. Their powers are strange and unknowable.
Jen, the Paragon's wheel powers, strange and unknowable.
It's true. So, like, won't they see what we're trying to do here? Like, you know, playing both sides, da-da-da-da-da.
Can we be certain that they will not see through our deception?
And Thordan he smiles. The only certainty is the righteousness of our cause. We seek to excise the root of an evil that has blighted us for 1,000 years. The risk is worth the reward. And then Zephyrin turns the conversation to us. Estinian and the Warrior of Light they're doing stuff.
They're doing stuff.
Should we be worried? And Thordan says, let them do what they're going to do. We all have our role to play.
And now, Zephyrin's voice gets all weird and echoey.
Very deep and metallic.
For the glory of King Thordan.
It's clear that Zephyrin has also gone under some sort of physical transformation as well. So what the fuck's going on there? This is Ascian shit. So Zephyrin took the Ascian juice. He drank the Ascian juice.
He's juiced up, Jen.
Yeah,
he's juicing.
He's turned into something. So now, meanwhile,
back with our crew, we say our final goodbyes to Tataru.
And she's like, bye, have a good time. I'll be in the tavern. Doing her thing. Just, again, keeping her ears and eyes open for news about our missing scions.
Hopefully not doing more heresies.
And correct. Well, no promises. Oh, and one more thing. And she whips out a little something for Alphino. It's a brand new custom coat. And he looks much warmer and much more adult in this coat. And he's like, wow, this actually is very well tailored and pretty good quality. Hey, Tataru, this is actually not bad. So this,
actually,
it's
not
actually,
bad.
it's, I'm
no, he does say it that way.
He does. Yeah. He's like, actually, it's kind of good. Yeah, it looks great. And this is the beginning. This is like Tataru, you know, she tried her hand at Arcania and didn't work out. But this is the jam.
Juggling.
Juggling?
Yeah. You got to talk to her in the break room, Jen.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Well, she's finally found her jam, which is making clothes.
Yeah.
She's a crafter. She's getting after it.
Get it, girl.
So she gave Alphino the coat, and this is awesome. So he's like, no matter what we may encounter out there, at the very least, you won't have to worry about the cold. Very cute. So,
with that done, we head to the Kurthus Western Highlands. Why is that funny, Jen?
Western Highlands.
Correct.
Yes, our journey begins.
That is where we're going, Jen. Is that funny to you?
Just
something.
Every time you say it, I'm going to chuckle.
Okay.
Our journey begins in Falcon's Nest. So we ask Sir Redwald, and we remember Sir Redwald when we were dealing with Artorel, and this was our first visit to Falcon's Nest, and he's kind of like the commander there and overseeing stuff. So we talked to him to see if he has heard or seen anything related to the Heretics movement lately. And he suggests that, like, him personally, no, but he has men on patrol who are supposed to be looking out for that exact thing. There is a patrol that's due back any moment, and we are free to ask them if they've seen anything. Also, there is another contingent out at Gorgain Mills, which is where, we ambushed the Heretics down in the basement, whatever. So Estinian's like, this is great. I'm going to hang out here, speak to the patrol when they get back. And the two of you, me and Alphino, we're going to go to Gorgain Mills and talk to the team out there and, divide and conquer.
So we head to them mills. Speaking of Jen, there is a side quest now that gives us some history of this place. Sir Gorgain was a knight of House Durandare. He was assigned to guard an heir of the house, but failed in his charge.
Aww.
The boy vanished mysteriously. His failing led Sir Gorgain to give up knighting and start farming at these here mills. That's that.
All right.
Then he passed away, and they still stand as a den of heretics, a proud legacy.
Well, I mean, there is talk of reviving the property now that the Heretics are gone. But so anyway, we head out to the house, the campus, whatever. And we speak with the expedition leader. He says that they were about to, so they've been searching the grounds, whatever, and they had just found like a nice fat stack of letters, and they were going to go through them looking for clues when they were attacked by some like tame polar bears that the Heretics had left behind in there. So obviously they couldn't look at the letters because they were getting beat up by polar bears. So we're going to go in there and deal with them.
Yep.
That's very easy.
So we head in, and Alphino goes in first, and we see him by the body of a polar bear on the upper floor in the stable section. And he's freaked out. This is weird, Jen, because it doesn't feel characteristic of Alphino to be so...
Freaked out?
Exactly. I don't know what is going on here, but he stammers, oh dear. The creature took me by surprise. Forgive me. Until my hands stop shaking, I fear I shall prove more a hindrance than a help. All that from one polar bear, Alphino, who fought Bahamut with us and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a very weird moment. I'm not sure how to make sense of this. Maybe he's afraid. Oh, polar bears.
Nature, you scary.
Nature, you scary.
Yeah.
We go downstairs and we fight a little polar bear and a big polar bear. We dispatch them, no problem. And now we get to work on collecting those letters.
At this point, Estinian is back. He didn't have any luck with the patrol. So the letters are kind of our only hope to find a clue as to where these guys went, where Lady Iceheart might be. This is a fuck. So we run around, we collect the letters, we all get back together, we put them, we give the expedition leader the pile, and reads through them. So the letters are basically between the crew that was hanging at Gorgain Mills and the crew that was hanging still at the Akafa Amphitheater. And, requesting provisions and whatever. But the news here is that there's still a a pocket of heretics hanging out at the Akafra Amphitheater ruins, which is news to us. So now we have like a place where we can go. Alphino is thusly reminded of our perilous trip through the icy labyrinth of Snowcloak, the tunnels under Snowcloak. Labyrinth. Luckily, it seems the aetheryte pathway that Moonbrita resurrected way back when is still operational, because that's how the heretics apparently are getting back and forth. And Alphino also recalls that a passage was discovered that connected the Kurthis Western Highlands to the tunnels. And so we're going to go there. That's easy.
We're going to go there.
It's way easier than going the other way.
So we go there.
We go there.
There being the eastmost point of this frozen river that runs into the abyss, into the Sea of Clouds.
Like deep in this canyon, this very narrow canyon. But there's like a dude there, a couple of dudes there. There's a campfire.
The dudes are Knights of House Durandare.
Yeah.
And Alphino is all freaked out. He is reminded of the last time he went to the Akafra Amphitheater and his prideful position as the supposed head of the Crystal Braves. And coming back here has reawakened his trauma over his fall from grace before.
It's still very fresh. This is understandable. But this is really convenient to have a nice entry to the underground tunnels.
Yep.
Without having to go back through Kurthis Central Highlands.
So we head into them tunnels and we emerge in the amphitheater. Alphino remarks about the architecture for a moment. It's super cool.
Super old.
He says super old and super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But then we're challenged by a band of heretics. Alphino calls for a parley, but they say hell no. We see that you're with the Azure Dragoons. And it's time to fight. So we get a lengthy brawl. We fight some regular old heretics first. Then they begin to consume dragon's blood and turn into those dragon hybrid monsters.
Yep.
Eventually, after a long fight, we win out, and they call for a retreat to the Cinders. Estinian believes they refer to a landmark called the Dreaming Dragon, an island in the midst of a frozen lake called Ashpool. Some 500 years passed. 'Tis told that the Azure Dragoon of the age fought a dragon of titanic proportions, perhaps big enough to dim the midday sun.
Maybe.
After a savage struggle, the mighty creature was weakened unto the point of death and forced into a magicked slumber by an entire chapter of the Holy Sea's sorcerers. Ere long, a rain of ash and cinders did begin to fall upon the sleeping serpent's motionless form, covering the creature in a shroud of gray. And subsequently, it was frozen over by a layer of ice. And that's where they're going.
Off to the Cinders.
But first, a pit stop along the way. We need to stop by a camp in Twin Pools, established by the Convictors, a band of dragon slayers. Their leader may have info for us. And that's where we leave off for now.
Mm-hmm.
Jen, I feel spoiled by all of these solo duties. We have had 5 so far.
It's pretty sweet.
It is pretty sweet. And we are barely into this expansion. I think that we're like on the level 51 quest still.
Yep.
Or about to tip into 52, I think. But like it's still in the first 10 to 20% of the expansion by levels.
We got some. We're feeling our power here.
I just wanted to say that this is something that I've missed in more recent expansions in this game, which are, I think, lighter on the actual gameplay content, which is one of my gripes about modern Final Fantasy XIV content.
Yeah.
And I don't count fight some scrubs in a purple circle as gameplay. It feels like the frog in a pot type thing where they kind of thinned out. But honestly, in this case, I feel like the quantity might be better than the quality. these days we get like these very tightly tuned set piece fights that are mechanical kind of showcases.
Yes.
But we don't get fight some scrubs for a while or like just go through a thing and play through the story. It'll be cutscened.
Yeah, like you're running through like a chapter in the story by yourself, handling the conflict yourself. And not just like you and in a circle and suddenly you're having to do moveset or moveset, which I fucking hate.
I look forward to talking about that with you in the future. I have things to say about that mechanic too.
Years, yes.
But
what I want to say is maybe I think they started transitioning away from that in like maybe like middle of Shadowbringers. I can't remember anything.
Or it could be Stormblood. Again, I don't know. I feel like we kind of got like frog potted out of the high combat content.
Yeah.
Granted, those big fights in later content, they are much more challenging and they require you to pay more attention. The amphitheater fight this time, that one is pressing buttons against enemies, and if you do so, you're fine. You're not going to die.
Correct.
If you have your level 50 tombstone gear on and press your buttons when they come off cooldown. But also, though, it is a lot more interesting and engaging to actually play that content versus fight some guy in a purple circle that dies in 3 weapon skills.
Straight up. Yeah, 12 seconds, boom, done. Like, okay, well, I guess game you did let me push some buttons,
yes.
So thanks for that.
And even though it's not well balanced, it's still the act of doing so feels immersive, and I appreciate that
Contributing
in this expansion.
Yes.
So I did not feel the dearth, I guess, of this kind of content until I have been replaying this
right.
just
You're
now.
Like, oh wow, this is nice.
Yeah. Like another solo duty? Hell yeah.
Wow, an embarrassment of riches.
Have been having fun doing that. That is my comment for the day. Nothing else to say on my end. Jen, how about you?
As soon as we stepped outside of Fortemps Manor and Estinian walked up, I was like, oh yeah, this is where it starts, dude.
Yeah, the
and
real
like
shit.
We're on the hunt for Lady Iceheart, and we're like on like a road trip together, and we're gonna do this thing, and we're gonna hang out with this really weird dude. So excited.
Yeah. Same.
I'm so excited. And it's been so long since I've done this. I feel like I've done ARR like 10 times at this point. But Heavensward still feels very new to me because it was a long time ago that I did it the first time, and you don't really go back, after you're done.
Yeah.
So like bring it on.
No, I recall the major plot beats, but the moment to moment is all going to be almost new for me. It's been so long.
Yep.
So I am looking forward to it as well. I have been surprised already by some things.
Totally. I totally forgot that Estinian like interrupts our speech, and he's like, I'm going to come with you. I'm like, oh shit. Oh God. Okay. It's happening.
He just hitchhikes on our bus,
like
our party bus.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Maybe
I am
you'll
Estinian.
Become
Cajun.
Wishful thinking, but yeah.
That's all going in the trash. You know you did. Anything from Jen besides those sounds? Are you going to keep those in there, Jen?
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like when SpongeBob goes to rock bottom.
Sometimes,
I'm just speaking their language.
Sometimes you make me cut out the Jen sounds, so I never know. What those Jen sounds are, no one else will know.
Correct. It's a mystery, just like a stick.
Okay, well, next time we are going to keep on that MSQ. We will be finishing off the Kurthus Western Highlands.
One more time.
Jen's making a weird face at me right now.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. And thank you for avoiding Azure Dragoon number 2 erasure. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv@gmail.com. Check us out on Blue Sky at podreturnffxiv. Check the show notes for our Discord. You can join up, share pictures of your pets, your glams, maybe some memes. Join us on some group runs or organize some group runs of your own. Honestly, it's just like a really tremendous group of people. We talk about everything, and we'd love to have you. Last but not least, our Patreon. patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you get access to all the other stuff that we do, including the seasonal episodes from 14, our Final Fantasy XI series, Vanity Van Splainer, and we've just recently run some scenarios from the Tabletop RPG Starter Pack. Starter book?
Standard rulebook.
Standard rulebook. So be on the lookout for that. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.